So great, I'm on the road. So sorry again about the technical issues. Quick macro review first. Look, I am not convinced at all, fundamentally speaking, about the market, about the economic situation. I've been talking about possible recession for a long time. I know there's some technical traders out there, especially Rex, who thinks the QQQ is still bullish. I don't necessarily see that, but you know what? I'm being a stock picker here, and I'm picking stocks that I think can do well in a down market anyway. So I'm basically long this market, but not the SPY, not the major indices, not the growth stocks. I'm long specific names, and we'll talk about that. So you know what? We'll see what happens, but I just don't like this setup, and we broke last week's lows, and I think there's a chance we're going to retest the lows here in the 317, 320s. Hopefully not today, because I'm, definitely impacts some of the stocks we're long on. But if you look at, I am long gold, one of my bigger positions, and we talked about gold the last several days. Just look at this beautiful breakout into the 186 range. The RSI is still low at 64. The MACD is still green. So gold fundamentally makes sense. The technicals make sense. So I'm very excited about that. You can see we're kind of risk off this morning with Bitcoin down and RK down. And those Russia plays continue to work. Oil, natural gas, even uranium, wheat. What else do we have here doing well? Oh, yeah. Potash and corn. They're all doing well, continuing to do well, basically each and every single day. So I have positions in pretty much all those, but small positions. I used to have a much bigger position. I kind of wish I never sold them off, but hey, I still got a position, still got exposure. Let's get into specific stocks on my watch list here. This week, I called out both gold and Kodak as my picks of the week for the weekly show I do over for Wolf Financial on Tuesday nights. They're shifting that show to Monday night. So Monday night on Spaces, you can check out that show. So gold and Kodak. Gold has been doing well, as you know, all week. We just talked about it. Kodak, I'm surprised there's not been more chatter over the weekend because it had this huge candle right before the close. And there's a saying out there, volume precedes price. And this candle took it over to a close over the 200 DMA. So it's a little bit tedious here trying to hold on to the 200 DMA. Everyone should know the thesis by now. Okay, this is my largest position, but I will concede if the NASDAQ's down, it's going to be hard on this stock. Now, Friday, the NASDAQ was down and actually held up. So I'm a little bit hopeful that maybe something's about to happen, right? Because of that price action, because of this large volume bar, maybe some news is coming soon. Maybe a large influencer is going to pick it up. I like that it's over the 200 days, so we just wait, okay? We're just going to wait for this to play out. I'm not going to reload calls. I got into trouble last 2 weeks on that, so mostly common shares right now. And that's the story with Kodak. I'm very excited about what's going to be happening there. Now, Twitter, of course, we've been following that story. We're up. There was a poison pill Friday. Man, I was surprised. I dug a little deeper about poison pills because it's never been something I've had direct experience with the stock I've owned, and I read about it, and I was surprised that it's illegal. Unbelievable. Elon Musk is the only person, if he triggers the poison pill by getting into 15% of the stock, he'll be the only person who cannot buy shares at half price, something absurd like that. The poison pill, I thought the stock was going to crash Monday, but yesterday and over the weekend, some additional things came out. One of them was Elon Musk tweeting that something about making a tender offer. He hinted at it with the Elvis Presley song, I think it was. I forgot the name of the song. But in any case, people are now speculating there's going to be a tender offer by Elon Musk, which goes over the head of the board somehow. I don't know the legalities about how this works. But there may be a tender offer. Also, there's speculation he may be teaming up with a private equity firm to up his offer. So it's going to be an action-packed week. Friday, I sold cover calls on my entire position. We did talk about how we thought this move was not going to hold. We were right about that. And we'll see. I hope this will be a mess. I hope it'll take weeks and I can just keep selling weekly calls. So we'll see how that works out. All right. KMI has earnings on Wednesday. This is a stock we've been talking about before. It's a midstream natural gas pipeline company. Natural gas has been booming, but they don't really benefit directly too much from natural gas, except for a portion of their business. that does do natural gas production, but it's a small portion of their business. And we'll have to see how earnings play out. The chart is absolutely beautiful. I still have a position in KMI, but not nearly as large as I used to. Lockheed Martin, I have a pretty good position in. This is one of the FANGs, this is the aerospace, right? Lockheed Martin has earnings tomorrow, and look at this. Since February 23rd, it's gone from 388 to 468, had a big move on future earnings. So that this actual numbers on this earnings report not going to matter too much. It's the guidance that's going to matter. So we'll have to see Lockheed Martin, how that works out. ACTG was presented as a VIP trade of the week, not a trade of the week, but a VIP pick by Matt Kolb last week. And hey, it's important to pay attention to these VIP picks. We're very careful about what we bring on board. We're very careful about the timing. Just prior to ACTG, in the week prior, we had Vidler Water, and you saw what happened with that. What an interesting story, man. This came out with a buyout at 1575 below the market. It was like an take under. Really surprised me to find out that a definitive agreement is not necessarily definitive, but we are on top of the story, and we found out the wording in that filing, which left the door open for competitive bids. The headline made it seem like it wasn't possible, but it is possible. If you look at the filing, we told that story on Benzinga right away within a couple hours, which you can see here. Vidler Water trades above 1575 buyout price. That's from StoryTrading, and because of the collaboration we do in our community. So this is going to be a very interesting one to watch. I know Mark Gomes, who presented this, still thinks this can possibly go to be sold out at a much higher price. So I have to watch what happens with Vidler Water. Now going back, that was the VIP pick, and here's this week's VIP pick was ACTG. The YouTube video just came out on Friday, so you can go to our youtube.com/storytrading to watch the video on ACTG from contributor Matt Kolb. He has a lot of great ideas. This stock is trading several dollars below book value. It seems very undervalued. It's basically a holding company and a patent company that have lots of assets that are really undervalued. So similar perhaps to one of his other ones has mentioned before, which I'm not sure if there was an official presentation on, SVFD, which we're still waiting on that one. But these are two really good names that appear to be very undervalued, perhaps ACTG even more so. Now, reason we brought him on now is because ACTG just had earnings the other week with record Q4 results and a huge buyback, and that sparked my interest. So I invited him to come on and talk about ACTG. So I currently don't have a position, but I want to monitor ethics. He gave us, since then, I think it can go a little bit higher. I'm looking at the RSI. Each of these peaks have hit like 80, 82. And the thing with ANDE is they have earnings coming up on May 3rd. But look at this. If you do a little bit of research of what they do, the Andersons Inc. is a diversified company rooted in agriculture. And you go on to read about how they trade in wheat, and they really benefit from higher wheat prices. You can read a little bit on their website as well. So this is a very interesting name. I'm long that name. I think I'll probably looking to take profits when this goes to like in the 80s, low 80s. We're at 76 now on the RSI. So that's the story with ANDE. We continue to monitor SMSI, one of the largest interest stocks in our community. And I think this is a little bit tough when the market's down. I think you need a strong market, personally, for SMSI to do well. I'm never surprised when SMSI goes down when the market's down. That's my personal opinion. Other people have different opinions. I personally think that their business can be impacted by recession, by inflation, less discretionary income to upgrade the products and buy that safety app from T-Mobile and other companies. But hey, they have lots of huge relationships with T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon. They're probably going to be upgrading to SafePath 7 at some point in the future. So probably a great long-term stock. Short-term, I don't know. I think they're a little bit beholden to how the market does. Dario Health, I had a conversation with the CEO last week. I'm inviting in. It was going to be this week, but I don't know. He's kind of saying maybe he'll want to wait a week or two. I think he said in 2 weeks he's going to be in New York City. So he suggested that may be a better time to do the interview for StoryTrading. But yeah, Dario, I have a feeling it may have bottomed last week. They did have some good news out last week with additional employer plans that came on board. But more importantly, he just gave me a lot of confidence in a call I had with him in terms of, can they get to cash flow profitability without additional dilutive raises, right? That was my question to him. He seemed very confident they could, and I'm looking forward to him coming to our community to talk about his plan on how that can happen. So very excited to be a large shareholder of Dario Health. Now, other things we're monitoring, let me jump down quickly to DWAC. It's up a little bit this morning. I would never, again, I have to repeat this every single time, very overvalued company. I would never invest in it. If I trade it, it's like a day trade, okay? But really, I mostly monitor this for the sentiment of how it may impact Rumble, which I think is much more fairer valued. But DWAC, the reason I bring it up is because Trump reached 1 million followers on Truth Social, which is still under beta. And I imagine there could be a press release that just happened yesterday. And I don't see any press releases here yet, but I imagine there could be a press release about that. And it could have a strong move. Hey, if you want to trade it, more power to you. I'm not going to trade it. But, maybe if CFVI gets a pop, I can sell covered calls, or I could trade around the core position because of any move that happens in DWAC. So going to be monitoring that. Besides that, SEAC, one of my largest positions, there's been a little bit of excitement because a lot of press activity from Triller, which is merging with SEAC last several days. There's a merger arbitrage play for $2. It's down at $1.17. So I'm a little bit suspicious that the deal is going to get repriced, or it may not happen because they got to raise a couple $100 million as part of a contingency on closing this deal. So I've been taking opportunities to sell pops on this when it gets into the 130s. I've done that twice here in the last month or so. Still have a large position, and hopefully we'll get good news. Hopefully the deal goes through. I'm going to maintain a nice core. We'll see. I think the SEC has to approve the deal first, and then they have to schedule a shareholder vote, and we're still waiting to hear from the SEC on that. Uranium, strong morning again so far. This is one of those, I think it's just a long-term bull. I have a position in CCJ, got a position in DNN. I think I also added one of the microcaps recently on that as well. So I have 3 uranium positions. I think it was Global Atomic I added last week, GLATF. BCRX gets a downgrade this morning, price target 13. We know what happened there. Hey, it seems undervalued for just Orladeo, so maybe a nice stock to hold, but the sentiment's very poor on that new trial for the new drug being paused, so that's not superb. Potash, we see, again, we mentioned it earlier, Mosaic, IPI continue to do well. Let's quickly take a look if we're missing. Oh, this is a good thing I did that. Say SFET, you may want to look into it. I don't have a position. It's been on my watch list as a cybersecurity play. You can see the market cap is only 20 million and shares outstanding 30 million this morning. Record first quarter 2022 revenue of approximately 4 million, representing 200% growth. And if you analyze that, it's trading at about a little over 1x revenue in the cybersecurity space. I don't know enough about it. You may want to look at it. That'll be up to you. And let's see if there's any new news that came out in the last 20-30 minutes while I've been preparing for the show. And we see Tesla, Twitter, Save Foods generates strong interest. Okay, kind of a BSPR. Save Foods is interesting. I do kind of am intrigued by what they do, intrigued by the very small market cap. They do some sort of treatment process that causes foods to last longer. And I just wonder if, because of the food situation and high inflation in the world, that companies will be, supermarkets and such, will be willing to pay more to preserve their more valuable food products. Now, it's mostly for fruits and vegetables. And, the food prices I've been seeing rising are for wheat, corn, and eggs, primarily, and soybeans. So I'm not sure that there's a direct correlation, but there could be a sentiment correlation. There could be more companies looking at solutions like this, simply because of the general sentiment of food getting more expensive. So this may be a worthwhile company to look into. I currently don't have a position in that. So we'll have to see what happens. As I said, I'm a little bit surprised we haven't seen social media action over the weekend on Kodak. No excitement about that big volume bar at the end of the week. But I think our thesis is strong. I think the stock's being accumulated. My largest position, we'll have to see what happens. Everyone have a great day. Thank you for joining us.